Hi, it's Crystal, also known as Cricket, Manifests Life. I wanted to come this evening and share what has been on my heart. As I was driving home from work today, I was really led and felt led in my heart to share that although there's times that people may misunderstand you, it's the fact that they choose to misunderstand you. There's also conversations that may be had that at the time may not be understood, but come maybe a day, a week, years, months might go by, and that thought might come back to them. And at that time, they might realize what was being said, just as I've had happen for me. I've had conversations that at the time I may have thought, well, that was kind of bizarre, does not apply to me, and kept moving and may not have thought about it. And then all of a sudden, a few years later, something happens and it brings that idea or that conversation to mind again. And I think, wow, if I would have only grasped that concept at the time that they shared it with me, how different my life could possibly have been. I did spend many years in what could have been, what should have been, and if I hadn't have done this, or if I had not have made that decision, where would I be now? I have embraced and sometimes still have to choose to embrace the choices that I've made and choices that others have made that maybe were not always good for me physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. I cannot always blame another person for those choices, as sometimes I was a participant, or I may have chose to be in that situation, or maybe I did not know how to get out of that situation at that time. I used to be in the mentality of everything happened for me, or happened to me, I'm sorry. And I used to get so mad when people would say, well, maybe it happened for you, not just to you. It took me many years to get past that original anger and frustration when somebody would say that, because I'd be like, well, I didn't choose for this to happen to me, or I didn't choose for that to happen to me. But what I can choose is to take lessons and learn that through each occurrence, each choice, whether my own or someone else's, did bring me to who I am today. I am loving. I am kind. I think about the mantras and some that stand in the mirror and they speak to themselves, and I used to think that was ridiculous too. But now I can see when you stop and you do look in the mirror and you look yourself in the eyes and you can say, I love you. You are kind. I am sweet. I do know that I was brought to earth for a purpose. It's starting to come and be unfolding at this time. There are things in life that I'm called to, that I'm called to be a healer. And for many, they're like, okay, well, that's good. That's a medical thing. That's respectable. But there's many types of healing. There's that can be done. Um, I do want to celebrate the fact that I am at a stage in my life that instead of thinking, oh gosh, I have wasted all these years of my life and there's so much more I should have done through the course of the years, I lived that for a long time. And sometimes I still beat myself up. But I keep thinking that, the first half of my life was like this. And there's so many good things, So many wonderful people have come in my life. So many wonderful animals, pets, fantastic experiences that I just know that this next part of my life is going to be the best years of my life. I am truly excited to see what's happening on the earth, what is unfolding. There's truly a change. Some may have been hearing about the new earth, the old earth, the 3D, the 5D, and may not understand what that truly means. I don't know that tonight I can give that explanation, but what I can share is that when we focus on things, that's what we're going to continue to see. If we are focusing all of our attention on the bad and the horrible and the evil, that's all we're going to see. But when we can balance that and know that there is bad, there's evil, and there is terrible things that happen in this earth. But for those that are called to make a change, now's the time. You know, we pull into our experience what we look for. Just like if you decide that you're going to go out and buy that cherry apple red Mustang, and you might not have seen any. There may not have been a single one in your town, in your county. You may never ever see one, but by the time you decide that you want that candy apple red Mustang, you're going to start seeing that in your city, in your town, in your county, and it's going to remind you that, oh, I really want that. Look at that. But you hadn't noticed it before until you decided you really wanted that vehicle. That's the same with experiences. If I was to sit there and think about all the bad that has happened in my life and all the bad experiences and just continue to focus on those, then all I'm going to see around me is the bad and the evil and the terrible experiences that individuals and counties and countries go through. But when I stop and I think about, you know, man, my neighbor was really nice. They have a beautiful smile. I know that there's someone local to me whose daughter has cancer, and I can't even imagine the struggle she must go through. And I can't even imagine. So to say to her that, you know, we just need to look past the hospitals. You need to look past the medical treatments. You need to look past the struggles that you're going through for you and your daughter. I can sit here and wonder, what kind of word of encouragement do you give to a parent who's going through something like that? That I don't know. I do know that healing does occur. And I know that there's many healings that are found, and that might not just be here on the earth. It might be a spiritual healing. I do believe that there are ways of healings that maybe up till now humanity has not seen, whether they've been suppressed or hidden, I don't know. But I do know that there are good things to come. There's changes that are to happen, and it really is going to take each of us to decide that we want to see the good and we want to follow the good and choose to follow that path. I know this video is rambling, so I do apologize. I am just starting my station, my channel, and I'm not sure where it's going to go. Right now I'm being led by my spirit and by my guides. I do believe that many things are going to come, that there is going to be times that I'm going to not just share my heart, but share things that I learn as I watch others and that are speaking, and that the things that are to happen in this world, I do ask that we have trust and that we have faith that good things are to come, and that we can choose what we want to see. I don't know. I probably won't post this. This is too rambling. Just as I came home today and I was wondering, what did my day bring? That typically I would have looked for the bad things that may have happened throughout the day or the frustrating things that happened throughout the day. But I actually was driving home and thinking about the good things. Like, I went to lunch with a friend today, had a great conversation, and it was a lot of fun. And I haven't done that in a long time. And so I really enjoyed that. You know, I thought about driving home and there was no problems, there was no traffic backup, there was no complications. It was a very good drive. It does take me an hour and a half to drive to work and drive home from work, so I have plenty of time to have experiences in my vehicle. But I was listening and I was talking to Spirit, and I was just thinking about what good things happened today, and thinking about how I used to just trust, and I could go and talk to someone and not be concerned about if they would misunderstand me. I kind of miss that girl. I want to come back to be her again. I like just going and following my heart and speaking from my heart. And I know that when I do that, the experiences I've had in my life have been so much more joyful, so much more pleasant. And I want to go back and I want to be her again. I don't want to think about everything I'm going to say. I just want to speak from my heart. I want to speak from love. I love people. I truly love people. And those that don't have one to speak for them, I want to be that voice. I've always fought for the underdog. Heck, part of my life I was probably the underdog. But I always looked out for those who were less fortunate than what I was. And I can honestly say that I've been so blessed that when I do not worry about my own self, but what I can do for others, I've always been blessed in return. Now, whether it's a blessing or a different terminology, that I know that every time I put good out, good has always come back to me. When I put bad out, bad has come back to me. So I don't want to put bad out. I just want to put the good out so the good comes back. But I'm human, so there's going to be times that I might say or do things that I'll later regret. But hopefully those times be fewer and far between. I just wanted to share that as this channel grows, there will be times that the thoughts that I share may not be your thoughts, and that's okay. I don't expect everybody to agree with me or to always understand where I come from, because sometimes I wonder where I'm coming from. But I always know that I'm coming from a place of love, and that things are going to be good. One of the content creators that I really like Chris Reck had talked about multi potentialities. That multi passionate doesn't mean scattered, it means your genius is combinational. So you don't need to narrow who you are, you just need to focus on what you're doing next. I do tend to have scattered thoughts, and I do tend to jump from thought to thought. So I do hope that you will be able to stay with me, and that this channel grows, and know that this is a place of safety, and it's a place of love, and that I'm here to be a light. I think of myself as I want to be a change maker, maybe a way shower. Just to gather those around who want to see good and who want to feel loved, and know that we don't have to always compete with one another, that we are all wonderful in our own way, and everybody has their own strengths. We can each celebrate our own selves, and we celebrate those around us. That's what we're here to do. Thank you.